Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put the steering blocks on next, only because I already have this thing set up like this. So the neat thing, the way I found to best measure these steering blocks is by I put 4 holes in each. I find 2 is not enough because there's a lot of stress that's placed on these blocks. That's number 1. Number 2, I take 2 2D nails and put in here. Now you could use smaller nails if you've got really young scouts and you want almost no play at all, but they need to have a little bit of adjustment to adjust for, you know, a rough track or something like that. So 2 nails in here, clamp it tight, and I'm going to go ahead and pre-drill these holes before I attach this. And you're probably going to use a 2.5-inch screw for each side. So 8 2.5-inch screws. Okay, so this is the size nail that I'm going to be using for these. This Cubmobile is being built for a group of bears. This is for those situations where it's just you working on this. Go ahead and put the nails in, 1 on each side. And by using the clamp to hold this onto the piece, you know your block's now perpendicular with the main frame. So at this point, make sure your block is lining up with your main axle here. And this is just something that you can go by touch and just feel to make sure this is lining up. And if you want to take your speed square and make it go flush, make sure things are lining up right. I'm having trouble squaring this up only because the clamp's getting in the way, and plus there's added space here because you've got the washers in here. So you're going to have to check to make sure that this is where it needs to be before you screw it in. Now you have limited steering so the scouts don't go flying off the road. Okay, so at this stage is when you want to go ahead and drill a quick hole for the rope that's in your axle to control the steering for the Cubmobile. Now you can't put it in the middle here because right in the middle is where this axle is going to be. This will be drilled in here, so you can't put this part, this is what's supporting the wheel. You're not going to be able to put that here. So what I tend to do is put it right up here or right back here. So it's pretty simple. I usually go 2 inches in and 1 inch from the edge. So this is where you want to do it. And you can see that's not too, you're far enough from the axle, the bit, that you're going to be okay. Okay, so I've attached the bottom footrest or foot support here sort of with the same methodology as I did for the seat and the backrest. As far as placement, I place it so it's equidistant or equally distant between the seat and wherever you place the footrest, because the goal here is to keep the kids' feet the Scout's feet from coming down. And this is a small enough gap. This is a very small gap. It'd be very difficult or near impossible for a child to put his feet through here. So it's a nice equal distance. I put 10 screws in the bottom because while the kids aren't supposed to, sometimes they stand on this. So 10 screws, put it equidistant between the footrest here and the seat on the bottom, and that will prevent the kids from their feet hitting the ground and catching on the seat. Okay, now all that's left is the brake. And you've already drilled a hole in the side over here to install it. You want the corresponding hole in your brake. The brake is 15 inches long. So from the top of the brake that's going to be sitting on the inside, the part that the Scouts are going to grab, down to the hole is going to be 9.5 inches. So you're going to drill your hole at 9.5 inches, and then you're going to attach it right here. Unfortunately, I don't have that bolt with me. I didn't realize that I didn't have the bolt with me when I would start putting this together, but it's pretty simple. You just drill a hole big enough to hold the bolt, and I'll have in the description down below all the different sizes that you need of these bolts and everything. I'll have that broken out. But so that's going to go here. Now, 2 words of wisdom as far as this goes. You may need to bring, depending on your ramp, may need to bring an extra saw, because you might have to cut this angle bracket here at an angle, because this may not be able to clear the ramp. And to give you an example, this is this Cubmobile that I showed you at the beginning of the show, which was the Hammerhead Shark. So if you can see here, what I did was I took a saw and I had to cut this way so that, if I can get this out of the way, so that this brake could fold closer to the bottom of the Cubmobile. Now, you'll obviously see by removing this here, you can sort of see it there. By removing this material here versus what you have here, this was able to get all the way down. Now, the other thing you're going to notice at the bottom of this is, and this is where the amount that you have to cut out is going to come in, because I attached to the bottom of this an old piece of a shoe, and what that did was allowed this Cubmobile to break every time. Without the shoe, you will wear out this wood down here very quickly, and so it's important to make sure that you use this shoe screw. You can see I used a screw on each side right here, and used the screw to attach it. And it's just an old shoe I had that I was about to throw away, and it became part of the brake. So, all right, one last thing on the brake before I wrap up. Obviously this is a 2x2, and this is going to be a little bit difficult for the kids to grab. So from the point that so before you attach it to your Cubmobile, draw a line where you know that the bolt is going to go, and then shave off these corners so that this is round. Now you can do that any number of ways. You can use sandpaper, you can use a chisel to come along here. It doesn't have to be pretty, but whatever you do, just make sure you sand it so it's nice and easy for the kids to grab. If you have a draw knife, use a draw knife and just cut these edges. If you have a lathe, obviously you can do it. So there's any number of ways that you can take off the edges here and make it easier for the kids to grab. And I mean, besides that, that's the last component to this. And this is your basic Cubmobile ready to go, with your brake right here, ready to go, and for the kids to paint it, design it, add as you can see from here, add a tail, add fins, make it look like a hammerhead shark, whatever they want to do. But Hope this helps make this process easier and quicker. And let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Thanks.